Hey there, and welcome to Real World Tarot, a podcast that aims to remove the smoke and mirrors and bring tarot into real life. Your life. This podcast is hosted by me, Karen of Little Orchid Tarot. I'm a tarot reader, intuitive, and lightworker who works with the tarot every single day on Fiverr.com. I'm excited to explore the energy of the cards with you, particularly how they show up in everyday life, as people, situations, and as energies you might want to embody. Because where magic meets the mundane, that's where real life happens. So let's dive in, shall we? Hey there, and welcome back to Real World Tarot, the podcast that looks to remove the smoke and mirrors from the cards and bring tarot into real life. I'm Karen of Little Orchid Tarot, and today we're jumping into the third card in the suit of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles. I call this my Teamwork Makes the Dream Work card, which is super lame, and yes, I am aware of that. But if you take a look at the artwork in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and many other popular decks, you'll quickly see what I mean. Here we see the image of three craftsmen, two apprentices or teammates looking up at a master or teacher, who looks to be showing off his work. The stool the master stands upon looks much like a workbench. In fact, in her book Holistic Tarot, an integrative approach to using the tarot for personal growth, Annabelle Wen notes that this card often appears for artists and craftsmen, skills in which one's handiwork leads to a tangible build or creation of something. The building in this card looks to be a church with a strong foundation, thick walls, and an ornate archway. This is a symbol that the work created by this person or team is of a high quality, high skill, and built to last. It has the foundations to lead to more work, more accolades, stability, and overall security. What I love about this card is that the facial features on the two figures at ground level look serene, enraptured, dialed in, and on the same page as the master craftsman. Everyone in the scene is there for the same reasons. No drama, no ego. They're sharing the same vision of what they are building. Whether the two figures are apprentices to the master or are his seniors adjudicating his work, everyone looks to be aligned with the same vision that what they are building is sacred. They are building a church after all, so consider that if this card appears in your reading, that what you're creating is as sacred to you and those you're working with as a cathedral built to last for centuries. I actually have a personal, real-world story to share with you before we hop into our common questions and how this card shows up in your readings. When I can, I like to be in the habit of pulling a card each morning before I start my day, and often what I'll ask is, what is the energy of my day ahead? As I mentioned in my first episode, this is an invaluable practice if you're just learning the tarot now, or how it works with your energy, and overall, of course, will help you strengthen your intuitive use of the cards. On this particular summer day in 2018, I was just about to leave my home and head out to another home, actually one soon to be my first purchase, a bungalow that myself and my husband had recently put an offer down for. This particular morning, I drew the Three of Pentacles, took kind of a quick look at it, and then just rushed out the door. Now, this offer was conditional that the seller would allow us to bring an inspector in who could do an overall check of the house and its condition. The craftsman, and here's your hint at what's to come, sweeps through the house for any issues with the roof, the foundation, the electrical, the HVAC, etc. So, about halfway through the inspection of this home, and mind you, by the time this was happening, the card was well out of my mind, the inspector shouted down for us to meet him in the basement. He had found something of interest. My realtor and I came down the stairs to find him on a stool, shining a light up at the fuse box. "See this," he said. "You've got a live wire here, and this needs to be kept for safety." All of a sudden, I snapped back to that morning and the image of the Three of Pentacles in my head. Here I was with my realtor, looking up at the master craftsman on the stool above us, all three of us looking at the fuse box of the home I was just about to purchase. All three of us looking to find any issues to improve to make it safer, more secure, and more long-lasting. I actually did nearly laugh out loud because the universe got really, really real with me that day. So moments like these, they're how the tarot can literally show up in the real world. And again, a daily card pull can help bring about these scenes and symbols into your life so you start to understand how they show up, strengthening your readings and your intuition. Okay, so let's get into it then. How might this card show up through the lens of some common questions that you may be asking of the tarot? The Three of Pentacles may seem a little strange when it pops up in the love reading. What do three tradesmen have to do with my crush on Jimmy? Well, Often in my readings, if love is to be found in the workplace, this card will show up. We do, after all, spend the large majority of our time at work, often more than with our friends or with our families. So naturally, workplace romances spring up from time to time. However, this can also be an indication that your partner or love interest work is incredibly important to them. They see it as sacred, and they're looking for you to support them in their endeavors as a team member. Maybe that means listening to them recount their day at dinner, or having to be patient if they need to work overtime, or even if they need to travel to attend a conference the same weekend as that concert you wanted to go to together. I've even seen this card come up representing someone who is a team leader or a teacher. If it does appear and it's not related to office romance, it's usually saying, hey, your person is super, super into their job, so you gotta be willing to be their wingman and take one for the team from time to time. Now, anytime we get three figures in a card within a love reading, there could be another person involved, whether that person is known or unknown. But generally, with the Pentacle suit, this is more about work and creating. So I'd say it's likely more that this card could be an indicator that you work well together and that you make a great team. You probably have some skills and abilities where your partner lacks them, and vice versa. Introvert, extrovert, cook, dishwasher, handyman, pet caretaker. You get the gist. I've also seen this card appear in situations where couples are thinking of doing some home renos, and much like my situation, you might need to hire some expert help. It's also a great indicator that no matter what you take on, you and your partner are on the same page and have the same mind. So if someone is asking, what does Jason want from our relationship? And this card appears, it's a great sign that Jason, has the same intent as you, the same ideals, the same goals, and are probably looking to build something solid for the future. I love, love, love this card, the Three of Pentacles, in a career reading. If someone is asking after a job offer and this card appears, it's a big heck yes for me. The Three of Pentacles is all about group work, how we work within groups who have common goals or purposes to achieve our aims. In a work environment where this card appears, teamwork is prioritized, and your contribution to successfully reaching goals and completing projects on time will absolutely be recognized. Look at how the two craftsmen look up reverently at the master on the bench. In this space, your work will be celebrated, it matters, and the team will make sure you know it. The body language of both ease and attention, to me, speaks of a lack of politics or bureaucracy here. It's clear from the scene that there is a hierarchy of some sort. Just look at the person physically above and those physically below. But all have their role, and they still all look to be quite engaged. This speaks of a healthy work environment where everyone has their skill set and gets to contribute equally. If you're asking after your current career or a new opportunity, this card's appearance suggests an environment in which you can learn and grow. Whether you're the intern or the master, there are folks here who want to encourage your skill sets. What's beautiful about this scene is that each person has their own skill set needed to complete the project at hand, and each is sharing their knowledge. So even if informally, this is a space where you will be introduced to many different skills and given the opportunity to apply your own skills practically, gaining hands-on experience and building something of value. And hey, this is something you can also put on your resume and LinkedIn profile, so win-win. This card can, of course, appear not only in the workplace, but indicate further education like an opportunity to take a course or start a degree. If someone is asking about going back to school, this is an absolute yes for me. Perhaps if not formally, you may want to consider seeking out a mentor or a guide. In money and finance, this could be a financial advisor or a broker. You don't want to and shouldn't try to go it alone when this card appears. Why struggle when you can hire a master who can fill in the skill set that you don't have, especially one who can help you create a solid foundation for the future? In fact, if you are considering hire someone, whether that's a trade person, contractor, or a white-collar professional, if this card appears in your reading, sign them on, because there's no shoddy craftsmanship here. If you're asking after your health and well-being and this card appears, this is definitely an indication you should seek out support. I once had a client who was looking to understand how she could lose weight. She said she had tried everything, dieting, exercise, and all the trends, but she just couldn't seem to keep the weight off. When this card appeared in her reading, the advice I sensed was seek out your peers, get support, because you're not meant to do this alone. Often we succeed where we've previously failed because we benefit from those who share our goals, who can raise us up and encourage us to keep going, who can provide tips and tricks that we ourselves may never have otherwise thought of. This card suggests AA, group exercise classes, forums or Facebook groups, education, support, and guidance from groups of all kinds. It can also, of course, indicate one-on-one support, perhaps a dietitian, a specialist, or personal trainer. However, I would say look to the other cards in the deck. Do you see the Hierophant or the Hermit, perhaps? These are the wise ones, the teachers, who have practical knowledge to share. Overall, the appearance of this card absolutely says don't try and go it alone here. Let others' strengths support your weaknesses, and don't discount the benefit to you when you're able to share your own strengths and experiences to those who might need it. Sharing is caring, and teamwork makes the dream work. When I think of how the Three of Pentacles shows up in popular culture, I always think of the Smurfs. I used to love, love, love this show as a kid, so much so that I actually wanted to live in the Smurf village that was once in the kids section of the amusement park I went to as a child. So let's just be honest here, the Smurfs are basically communists because their economy is based on each Smurf contributing to the cooperative. That is, sharing their skills and resources based on the principle that each Smurf has something they are good at and thus contributes to the Smurf society as they can. And in return, each Smurf appears to be given the necessities of life, whether that's housing or clothes or food, without really using any sort of money in exchange. So, Papa Smurf is skilled in magic and potions, while Brainy Smurf knows everything about anything, and Hefty Smurf can do any physical task imaginable. Each Smurf contributes to the greater whole, and as a result, their little kingdom thrives. It's pretty Three of Pentacles to me. Well, that's it, friends. Another card down. Next episode, we'll be exploring the Four of Pentacles, the Ebenezer Scrooge of the tarot. Bah humbug. I'll be releasing a bonus episode this month as well. I'm really excited to share these bonus episodes that I'm planning. I'm going to call them Confessions of the Tarot Reader series because I'll be peppering in special episodes on my experiences as a reader. And hopefully this brings you some tips and tricks on how to find a reader, how to get the most out of your readings, and how best to work with both your reader and the cards. And this is coming from the eyes of someone who's been there a lot. So that's it for today. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And as always, take care. Bye now. All right, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Real World Tarot, and most of all, learned something new. If you would like to learn more about me, ask a question for a future episode, or book a reading, you can visit littleorchidtarot.com/podcast. That's littleorchidtarot.com/podcast. And if you're enjoying the podcast, do that thing that helps other people find me. Subscribe and leave a kind review. And remember, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So take care, be well, and make good choices.